I understand the logic of if you buy something online from the Games Workshop store that's online only, there's no point in having the regular box because, they're really there for browsing, aren't they? You look in the shop, you look on the shelves, you take a box down and you have a look at all the photos and that. So I understand that. I understand that online only, what's the point in packaging them in a box like that? So yeah, what they do with their online stuff is plain white box, and that's fine, except this Stompa, you would think with the cost of a Stompa you might get something more than just a white box, but there you go. Small thing I thought I'd mention. So yeah, I'm doing a Stompa, and I'm doing a Stompa again. I had one years before and I can't for the life of me remember why I got rid of it, because I really liked it. I guess I was running out of space or something. So yeah, my birthday's just been, and my sister was very generous. She gave me a £100 gift voucher for Amazon. So yeah, I thought I'd get another one. So this is a build of a Stompa, all right, with a small addition, which I'll come to in a minute. So this is the big box, so big I can't pull back and show you it, but it's a big box, as you can see. But open the box. I can't remember. I don't think I did a build video for my Stompa last time. But anyway, this is the size. That's the size box you get. And these are all the pieces. So tons of big pieces. The Stompa is a big kit. Look at that. That's one of his sides. All right. And I think, yeah, that's as big as my hand. That's his back. And I remember from when I built it before, you've got all sorts of hatches all over, and it's up to you. You can either put a closed hatch on it, or you can raise it up. You can have a little grot in there. It's totally up to you how you go about it. All right. I especially remember this. This is lovely. It's great. And look how big that is. This face plate that you can put on the front. And I did that, I think, on my last one, but I'm not doing it this time. The reason why in a minute. That's the underside. Not too much detail, but there is detail there. They didn't, I suppose, have to put any detail, but, that's the underside of him. So you've got another 2 large sprues down in there. You've got all the grot crew and that. All right, so you get, as I say, 4 huge sprues and a large instruction sheet. This is going to take quite a while to build. That's all right. I'm not in any rush. The reason I'm doing this, by the way, is I've regretted getting rid of that Stompa. I'm doing my army for the Armies on Parade in October. Right now it's the beginning of July. And I know the August or September build challenge for Armies on Parade, the theme is War Machines. So that was my incentive to get another one. So look, that's how it all goes together. There are all sorts of optional parts. See, anything that's got an exclamation mark, you can basically bung them on wherever you want. So looking forward to that. It's going to take a while, as I say, just to build the massive, great big gun and all the chimneys and everything. It's going to take a while. And that's usually how one of them ends up looking. There's the belly plate I was talking about. When I did one of these before, I enjoyed it, but there was something I wanted to do but just couldn't justify the expense of. And that is to not have that head. Do away with the head and use a Forge World head. And I was aware of the Forge World head years ago. Somewhere back on my channel, if you look, you'll see I made their Mecha Dread. And that's got to be 10 years ago. And I remember at the time, really loving their replacement head for the Ork Stompa, but never got one for when I did the Stompa before. And now my justification is my sister's paid the 75 quid for the Stompa, therefore I can justify the 39 for the Ork head. All right, so inside here, usual Forge World clear plastic box. This is unusual. Never had this before when I've got Forge World kits. Of course, they're resin models, but I guess health and safety now, they have to let you know all about the risk with resin dust. So like dust mask, eye protection, dust mask. I guess they're scared of being sued. This is a far more glossy and elaborate instruction than anything else Games Workshop do. So there you go. There's quite a comprehensive thing on how to work with this strange stuff called resin. All right, so that's that. Now on to the head. And as I say, always loved it. So what we've got here is all the parts, okay, with a description of what they are, and then how they go together. Seems simple enough, so that's fine. Let's have a look at the pieces. Let's see what we've got. So that's his right eye. That's his top teeth. I won't get all the bits out. I'll show you them once I've trimmed them off and cleaned them up. That's his left eye. This is typical Forge World. Look at all this excess resin. I had this, I remember, with a Mecha Dread and a couple of other things I've had with them. You know, the amount of excess resin is quite extraordinary. So he sits in there somehow like that. All right, and I can't do it now because, again, you've got a pouring lug and more excess resin. But that's his left eye, and that sits in there. All right, like so. What else have we got? That's the back of his head. Not sure which way round it goes at the moment, but fabulous detail as ever. Rivet-tastic, dare I say. And that's his lower jaw, and that's the viewing platform, because you can have orcs or grots standing in his lower jaw, peering out. And finally you get here he goes, you get a captain peering out, wearing a very World War II style cap. All right, so yeah, this is going to take a long time, this build. I think my gut instinct is to do this bit, get in with the fun stuff straight away, but I'm thinking if I do that, it's just going to be gathering dust for a while, and doing some of the bits, the more conventional parts on the Stompa might be a bit tedious. So I'm going to do the Stompa first and save the best bit till last. Okay, so off we go. Work has commenced, and work commences by building the body first. All right, so here we go. That's his underside. All right, now I've made one of these before, but what I don't remember is how it can be confusing. The bit I've just shown you is everything that's on this page. Okay, so this is the bottom plate, this is the rear. What is confusing is you have to go by these not very clear photos, all right, as to what is what, especially this one, which is the rear of it. This one you can tell what it is. You've got a little pulley and you can work it out, and this one's got a higher bit, so it's easy to find it on the sprue. What I find confusing is if I show you one of the sprues, look at the sprues. Every part even these optional, you know, toe spike things, every part is numbered. All right. But they're not numbered on the instruction sheet, which is a bit weird. Anyway, so that's page 1 done. Doing that. Oh, I haven't put these on yet, but that's the first bit over. You see these things here with the exclamation marks. These are optional things. You know, it's up to you whether you want to put them on or not. And what they're talking about is on here. Oh, by the way, there's a little, quite neat little swiveling gun that I've put in. They didn't say whether that was optional or not, and I don't remember that from when I built one before. I don't like the way it's got no barrel, so I'm just going to get like a small tank wheel and just stick that on the end, so that's actually got a barrel. No, these optional things, or everything that's around here, I think that one is one as well. Every so often, you've got an open panel or a missing panel, and what you've got is a little grot looking out like there. You've got one there, and you've got one there. And I recognise these. I know what these grots are. They're 3 heads from your standard Gretchen kit. All right, and it's up to you whether you have the hatch open with them peering out, or there are a ton of spare panels and you can just cover them up. And I'm going to sneeze in a minute. I do apologise if I sneeze. I'm going to cover them up because, number one, they look a bit naff, just grinning out. There's nothing behind them. If I can get the light in there, there's nothing behind them. They're just like grinning out. It's like some sort of like naff, you know, cheeky elves in Santa's grotto sort of thing going on. And also, how the blooming heck are you supposed to properly paint them? All right, so these are being covered up. So, but there's the start. I'm on my way. Next stage, page 2, is to build 1 foot. All right, this bit I totally ignore because this is the head. I've got my idea about what to do with all these bits that are going to be left over. I'll come to that towards the end. I've got to make that ladder thing, and I've got to make all the chimney stacks. So stacks more to do. So on the main body, I've covered up the little grots peering out with hatches, and it's very odd. What's very curious about this is I know I made one of these years ago. I've still got some of the spare parts that I didn't use in my bits box. I know I made one, but I don't recall it being such a pig to build. And I don't know if originally these instructions did have the parts numbered and therefore it was easier. But now, I mean, this bit, let me find this bit with all these little pipes. What one's that? You can't tell. What is that, you know? Anyway, I've got there. That's the chimney thing. These are all going to be sub-assemblies again. Yeah, putting the guns together. That was a pig. Working out what the flaming heck is that thing there? You know, what is that up there? So weapon-wise, we got this one with a rocket on the top. These I'm going to be painting completely separately. I think I'll blue tack them to the main parts for priming purposes. But then, yeah, each one of these is going to be completely separate. These are all part of this one gun arm. Here's the big bit. Basically, these ones up here, you glue on a rail just there. All right, that's his arm socket. Okay, so that's the main bit of the gun. Oh, I got a foot. Banner pole. Again, I'm not going to use all of them because I've got something in mind for once I've done this. do another stomper with bits left over. This thing, oh, where is he? Here. Working out which one's which and how it attaches to that was a bind. But the biggest bind I've encountered so far, and I think this is it, I don't think we're going to be any more complicated, is the chainsaw arm, right? This bit's fine. I can recognize what bit is what, right? And that gives you that. Very nice, all right? Fine. This bit, fine, I can work that out. That's that bit there, all right? See? Fine. That bit there joins onto that bit there. All well and good. But this is what's causing me a headache. All right. It's basically this part, which is this part. So that is that. All right. All well and good. What the bloody hell is that little thing there? And where is that piston, which goes on the underside, which I can't find? But it's meant to look like that once you've done it. It would help if these photos weren't the quality of a, you know, manky photocopier. The pictures aren't clear at all. And then, even if I do find that, look, then I've got to add even more of the things, right? All the way round. Then I've got to find and locate the correct cable all the way around, right? I've got loads of cables. Which one's which? They're numbered. Put a bloody number on them. It's a bit of a moan, this thing, but it's frustrating. I've spent nearly a day yesterday scratching my my head. These bits, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to attach these to the back. I want all the focus to be on the front. I don't know. I might be saving these little platforms and ladders. I'm certainly not going to be using any of the grots or the Ork Commander because I've got the Forge World one. So yeah, let's wait and see. I mean, look at that, right? That's meant to show you what that is, but I can't see what's what. All right, rant over. I will continue building. Well, I got there in the end, and the way I did it was I cut out off of the sprues anything that looked like a piston and laid them out. I think there was 6 in all, and then one by one identified one, you know, just by the extra bit that might be on it, put them to one side. These two were quite distinctive, put them to one side. This one, I kind of figured what it was, put it to one side. And by doing that with those, that left me one, which was the one that was at the beginning, which was throwing me out. So there we are. All those on there is that lot there. All right. The only thing I haven't done yet is put that cable on there, which goes from, let me see. That goes from there up there, right? And then I've got 3 cables to identify there, 3 there, 1 there. All right. So yeah, hopefully I'll come back and this is all going to be busy and I can move on. So I've calmed down a bit since last time. I've managed to figure out where all the cables go, although bizarrely I've got one left over, and scouring the really rubbish instructions, I can't find out where that goes, so I'm leaving it off. Yeah, they're baffling, these instructions. As I say, it was hard to work out which one was which, but I got there in the end. Another baffling thing, just reverting to moan mode, this illustration, right, where you put this thing on, you put this grill on there, and you put that wheel on there, bottom left hand corner, and there's nothing there. Okay, turn the page and suddenly where there was that blank piece, you've got a bloody great big, where is it, this thing, a whole double machine gun thing, which it didn't actually tell you to put on. There is no sign between that photo where there's nothing, turn the page and it's there.
another head scratcher, right? As I say, you put that wheel bottom left hand corner. Bottom left hand corner. But when I'm trying to work out where to put all these cables, specifically these two here, the illustration has it top right, but it's bottom left. And it's silly little things like that that are a niggle, but I've got over it, honest. So here we go, sub-assembly time. What's benefited me today is that here in the UK, today is the start of our massive heat wave and temperatures are nudging 40 degrees for the first time ever, which has benefited me because you go out, you spray some primer, within about like a minute and a half, it's totally dry. So I'm ready to go on painting these. A lot of them are blue tacked together. That rocket is just blue tacked to that rocket, to the machine gun. I've got masking tape covering that up. Masking tape covering that up, masking tape covering that up, and this mini shoulder pad here is just blue tacked in place, and yeah, masking tape on the back of the chimney assembly. And I was going to spray each one of these rockets separately and paint them separately, but I figured there's no point. So what I've done is I've blue tacked them into the position where they're going to be going, all right? And then I'll peel them off and paint them. Why paint a bit that you're not going to see? Anything that hasn't got primer on, I won't be painting, all right? So that's all my sub-assemblies ready. All I've got left now to do is spray the big section. And yeah, I've been putting some little clawed Barbie bits along the bottom. And yeah, the left shoulder pad is just blue tacked on, and masking tape where I'm going to be sticking things. So just about to venture outside yet again to do my final bit of priming. I was going to excuse me, I was going to do one long video, but I don't think I'll bother. I think I'm going to chop it up into sections. So this is going to be the end of part one. Hopefully this part is the only one where there was moaning and negativity. But I think we're coming to the end of it, because here we go. As you can see, I've started painting. So yeah, all the metal parts were sprayed in my Halford's satin black, dry brushed with lead belcher. And I've, as you can see, one side I have done, the other I haven't. Just washing them in Nuln oil. I'm going to be getting through a ton of Nuln oil. I've got to go off to my local Games Workshop this morning. Just picking out the rockets in different colours. This little conning tower thing has got his yellow on. Again, same deal there. This bit hasn't been done yet. The Nuln oil, that is. That's what it's like. The satin black, dry brushed with lead belcher. That's what it looks like when then you put the Nuln oil on. All right. Ditto here. Done, not done. All right. Done, not done. I like this little rocket. This little rocket is gonna be a weathered yellow with white eyes and white teeth, and then all metallics at the back. And I'm going to experiment this time with different colours for the metals, because I want it to look like it's made out of lots of different pieces all cobbled together. Very often with Ork stuff, people paint it and it's all the same shade all the way through, and it looks like it's come off of a production line, and I don't want it looking like that. So in some places here and on the shoulder pads, excuse me, instead of starting with a metal, I'm starting with a brown. The old totem I've base coated in white. And speaking of white, this fella I sprayed in grey primer and then sprayed in Games Workshop Wraithbone, and then I started picking out some of the panels in yellow, and I thought that'd make the yellow nice and warm, but it wasn't. It was too dull. I need the yellows to be bright because I'm going to be taking it back down with the weathering, so I need it as bright as possible. So what I've done here is I've dry brushed with some of Games Workshop's base whites, White Scar, which is a nice bright white, but again, it wasn't doing it for me. So I've gone back and I've just oversprayed everything with Ford Oyster White, I think it was, which is a nice bright white. So shortly I'm going to start picking that out in yellow. So yeah, this is the end of part one. Yeah, sorry about the moaning to begin with, but you know, it was a bit confusing putting these bits together. I'm much happier now we're on the painting stage, and what I'm going to be doing is treating each part of this as a separate entity, a separate little modelling project, and I really want to go to town with it. So yeah, I think it'll be best then that I do these in parts. So this is end of part one. Part two will be sometime later.